Good morning. Good morning, Zoe. Good morning, Petra. Good morning, Alex. Nice to see you girls. We've only got girls so far. Good morning, Eleonora. Good morning, Isabel. Good morning, Athena. Good morning, Charlotte. Good morning, Gigi and Milo. Good morning, Camille. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, James and William. Good morning, Nico. Good morning, Isabella. Good morning, Isabel. Good morning, Charlotte and Emily. Super to have lots of you here. Good morning, Noemi. Is it Noemi or is it Dominic? Or is it both of you? It might be both of you today. Lovely to see you all joining in today. Let's see how many we've got so far. Are we going to have our class of 20 today? Our private school class? It's both of you. Super. Good morning, Eleanor. Good morning, Frankie, if you're watching. Good morning, Leon. I think we might have 2 more days left of James and the Giant Peach because we've got a couple more chapters left. Good morning, Anthony and Isabella. Nice. Nice to have lots of good mornings. Such a lovely way to start the day. Super, Noemi. There are 12 chapters left, so I think we've got maybe 3 more days. And I'm just thinking, so Friday is Good Friday. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do story time on Friday. I think I will, because I'm not going to do it on Monday because Monday is Easter Monday, but I think I will. I haven't quite decided, but I'll let you know by Thursday if I'm going to do story time on Friday because it is Good Friday. But then it's at 11 o'clock, so it's before normal math time would be. Good morning. I'm not sure who that is. Just remember to let me know who it is saying good morning because sometimes I'm not quite sure. I can't remember your parents' name. Super, on the iPad. Okay, so let's go for our poem for today. How is everybody feeling on this Tuesday morning? I hope you're all feeling good. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all ready for our super story. I'm getting really into James and the Giant Peach, and even though I've read it before and I've watched the movie, I'm actually really enjoying it. I hope you are too. Maybe if you're allowed, after when we have finished the book, you can watch I would watch the old version because it's fantastic of the movie, and I think I will definitely be looking to watch it to reminisce what I used to watch when I was little. Okay, let me find you your poem for today. Remember, a poem a day. A poem a day. This is a nice one. This looks like it's actually from the Bible. To everything, there is a season. To everything, there is a season. Give me a second on Instagram because I have set myself a timer and it's going to turn off. So I have set myself a timer on my apps so that I don't spend too long on my phone. But sorry, we're back. Are we back? Sorry. And it was just about to turn Instagram off because I've set a timer. So I've just reset it so that it doesn't suddenly turn off. Sorry about that, people on Instagram. I'm sad to hear that you've got a headache. Make sure you're drinking lots and lots of water, okay? Super, Charlotte. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Sorry about that break. So you can, on your phone, if you have a phone, which most of you shouldn't. But if you have a phone, you can set a timer so that you don't use certain apps for a longer time. So like Instagram or Facebook or even just the internet. So you're not using so much time on an app, because it's not good to be on social media the whole day. It's not good for your eyes. It's not good for your head. It gives you a headache. So anyway, that's what's happening in my life. To everything there is a season. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. Ah, that's what's happening right now. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silent, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. And that was to everything there is a season. Ah, that's interesting, Gigi. And you had to answer questions about it. Super. Okay, so what chapter were we on? What chapter were we on? Yeah, I really like. Do you mean the poetry book? Good morning, Max. Good morning, Casey. Just having a look at people who have just joined us. Which book do you love? Do you mean the poetry book? Because I really am loving the poetry book. It's nearly your birthday, Isabella. Super. We were on chapter 30. Let's have a look. I should have. Yes, chapter 30. Are we ready to carry on? Yeah. Have we got everybody here? It looks like we've got everybody who is usually here every morning. So we are ready to go. Chapter 30. They all raised their heads listening. Shh! There it is again. But the voice was too far away from them to hear what it was saying. It's a cloud man, Miss Spider cried. I just know it's a cloud man. They're after us again. It came from above. The earthworm said, good morning, Jack and Avery, if you're watching. The earthworm said, and automatically everybody looked upward, everybody except the centipede, who couldn't move. Ouch, they said. Help! Mercy! We're going to catch it this time. For what they now saw, swirling and twisting directly over their heads, was an immense black cloud, a terrible, dangerous, thundery-looking thing that began to rumble and roar even as they were staring at it. And then, from high up on top of the cloud, the faraway voice came down to them once again, and this time very loud and clear. On with the forceps, it shouted. On with the forceps! On with the forceps! 3 seconds later, the hole underneath of the cloud seemed to split and burst open like a paper bag, and then out came the water. They saw it coming. It was quite easy to see it because it wasn't just raindrops. It wasn't raindrops at all. It was a great solid mass of water that might have... Give me a second. That might have been a lake or a whole ocean dropping out of the sky on top of them. And down it came, down and down and down, crashing first onto the seagulls and then onto the peach itself, while the poor travellers shrieked with fear and groped around frantically for something to catch hold of. The peach stem, the silk strings, anything they could find. And all the time the water came pouring and roaring down upon them, bouncing and smashing and sloshing and slashing and swashing and swirling and surging and whirling and gurgling and gushing and rushing and rushing. And it was like being pinned down underneath the biggest waterfall in the world and not being able to get out. They couldn't speak, they couldn't see, they couldn't breathe, and James Henry Trotter, holding on madly to one of the silk strings above the peach stem, told himself that this must surely be the end of everything at last. Look at the water gushing down. But then, just as suddenly as it had started, the deluge stopped. They were out of it, and it was all over. The wonderful seagulls had flown right through it and had come out safely on the other side. Once again, the giant peach was sailing peacefully through the mysterious moonlight sky. I'm drowned, gasped the old green grasshopper, spitting out water by the pint. It's gone right out through my skin, the earthworm groaned. I always thought my skin was waterproof, but it isn't, and now I'm full of rain. Look at me, shouted the centipede excitedly. It's washed me clean. The paint's all gone. I can move again. That's the worst news I've had in a long time, the earthworm said. The centipede was dancing around the deck and turning somersaults in the air and singing at the top of his voice. Oh, hooray for the storm and the rain. I can move, I don't feel any pain. And now I'm a pest, I'm the biggest and best, the most marvellous pest once again. Oh, do shut up, the old green grasshopper said. Look at me, said the centipede. Look at me, I am freed, not a scratch, nor a bruise, nor a bleed. To his grave, this fine gent, they all thought they had sent, and I very near went. Oh, I very near went, but they sent quite the wrong centipede. Shut it. Chapter 31. How fast we are all going, all of a sudden, the ladybird said. I wonder why. I don't think the seagulls like this place any better than we do, James answered. I imagine they want to get out of it as soon as they can. They got a bad fright in the storm we've just been through. Faster and faster flew the seagulls, with the peach trailing out behind them. Cloud after cloud went by on either side, all of them ghostly white in the moonlight, and several more times during the night the travellers caught glimpses of cloudmen moving around on top of these clouds, working their sinister magic upon the world below. Once they passed a snow machine in operation, with the cloudmen turning the handle and a blizzard of snowflakes blowing out of the great funnel above. They saw the huge drums that were used for making thunder, and the cloudmen beating them furiously with long hammers. They saw a frost factory and the wind producers, and the places where cyclones and tornadoes were manufactured and sent spinning down towards the earth. And once, deep in the hollow of large billowy clouds, they spotted something that could only have been Cloudmen's city. There were caves everywhere running into the clouds, and at the entrance of the caves, the Cloudmen's wives were crouching over little stoves with frying pans in their hands, frying snowballs for their husbands' supper, and hundreds of Cloudmen children were frisking about all over the place and shrieking with laughter and sliding down the billows of the cloud on the toboggans. An hour later, just before dawn, the travellers heard a soft whooshing noise above their heads, and they glanced up and saw an immense grey bat-like creature swooping down towards them out of the sky. It circled round and round the peach, flapping its great wings slowly in the moonlight and staring at the travellers. Then it uttered a series of long, deep, melancholy cries and flew off again into the night. What great descriptions. Oh, I do wish the morning would come, Miss Spider said, shivering all over. It won't be long now, James answered. Look, it's getting lighter over there already. They all sat in silence, watching the sun as it came up slowly over the rim of the horizon for a new day. 32. And when full daylight came at last, they all got to their feet and stretched their poor cramped bodies. And then the centipede, who always seemed to see things first, shouted, Look, there's land below. It looks like streets and houses. He's right, they cried, running to the edge of the peach and peering over. Hooray, hooray! But how enormous it all is. A vast city, glistening in the early morning sunshine, lay spread out 3,000 feet below them. At that height, the cars were like little beetles crawling along the streets, and people walking on the pavements looked no larger than tiny grains of soot. But what tremendous tall buildings! Exclaimed the ladybird. I've never seen anything like them before in England. Which town do you think it is? This couldn't possibly be England, said the old green grasshopper. Then where is it? Asked Miss Spider. You know what buildings those are, shouted James, jumping up and down with excitement. Those are skyscrapers. Where do you think they are? Where do you think they are? Where do you think they are? If they're skyscrapers. They are in... they're not in London. They're in America. Well done. America. So this must be America. And that, my friends, means we have crossed the Atlantic Ocean overnight. You don't mean it, they cried. It's not possible. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Oh, I've always dreamed of going to America, cried the centipede. I had a friend once who, be quiet, said the earthworm. Who cares about your friend? The things we've got to think about now is how on earth are we going to get down to earth? Asked James. Ask James, said the ladybird. I don't think that should be difficult, James told them. All we have to do is cut loose a few seagulls. Not many, mind you, but just enough so that we can quite keep us up in the air. Then down we shall go, slowly and gently, until we reach the ground. Centipede will bite through the strings for us one at a time. Okay, so we are on chapter 33. Let me see how many chapters we've got. Finishes one chapter. 39, so we've got 6. Should we do one more? Yeah, so we can finish it tomorrow. Far below them, in the city of New York, something like pandemonium was breaking out. A great round ball as big as a house had been sighted, hovering high up in the sky over the very center of Manhattan, and the cry had gone up that it was an enormous bomb sent over by another country to blow the whole city to smithereens. Air raid sirens began wailing in every section. All radio and television programs were interrupted with announcements that the population must go down into their cellars immediately. 1 million people walking in the streets on their way to work looked up in the sky and saw the monster hovering above them and started running for the nearest subway entrance to take cover. Oh no! They think it's a bomb. Oh my goodness. I forgot about this bit. Generals grabbed hold of telephones and shouted orders to everyone they could think of. The mayor of New York called up the president of the United States down in Washington, D.C., to ask him for help. And the president, who at that moment was having breakfast in his pajamas, quickly pushed away his half-finished plate of sugar crisps and started pressing buttons right and left to summon his admirals and his generals. And all the way across the vast stretch of America, in all the 50 states, from Alaska to Florida, from Pennsylvania to Hawaii, the alarm was sounded and the word went out that the biggest bomb in the history of the world was hovering over New York City, and that at any given moment it might go off. Let me see. Oh, we can carry on. Come on, centipede, bite through the first string, James ordered. The centipede took one of the silk strings between his teeth and bit through it. And once again, but not with an angry cloud man dangling from the end of the string this time, a single seagull came away from the rest of the flock and went flying off on its own. Bite another, James ordered. The centipede bit through another string. Why aren't we sinking? We are sinking. No, we're not. Don't forget the peach is a lot lighter now when we started out, James told them. It lost an awful lot of juice when all the hailstones hit it in the night. Cut away 2 more seagulls, centipede. Ah, that's better. Here we go. Now we really are sinking. Yes, this is perfect. Don't bite any more, centipede, or we'll just sink too fast. Gently does it. Slowly the peach began losing height, and the buildings and streets down below began coming closer and closer. Do you think we'll all get our pictures in the paper when we get down? Said the ladybird asked. My goodness, I've forgotten to polish my boots, the centipede said. Everyone must help me to polish my boots before we arrive. Oh, for heaven's sake, said the earthworm. Can't you ever stop thinking about... But he never finished his sentence, for suddenly, whoosh, and they looked up and saw a huge 4-engine plane came shooting out of a nearby cloud and go whizzing past them not more than 20 feet over their heads. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane coming in to New York from Chicago. And as it went by, it sliced right through every single one of the silken strings, and immediately the seagulls broke away, and the enormous Peach had nothing to hold it up in the air any longer. That had nothing to hold it up went tumbling down towards the earth like a lump of lead. "Help!" cried the centipede. "Save us!" cried Miss Spider. "We are lost!" cried Ladybird. "This is the end!" cried the old green grasshopper. "James!" cried the earthworm. "Do something quickly! Do something!" James cried. "I can't," cried James. "I'm sorry. Goodbye. Shut your eyes, everybody. It won't be long now." Oh no, what's happened? Good morning, Rosie. Nice to see you. So we're going to stop there at chapter 35, and tomorrow we will finish the book. What are our reactions? What is going to happen? Do you think that they are actually done for, or do you think they're going to make it? What are you thinking? What's your predictions? What's your predictions? People are still reacting, no, uh-oh. Lots of people are saying lots of things. That's your reactions. You think someone's going to save them, Zoe? Okay. Casey, you think that they're done for? See you later, Charlotte and Emily. Eleonora, you think that there's hope? Noemi, you agree there might be hope? Lots of you, some of you think they're going to die. They're done for. Yeah, we have lots of different opinions. Would you like me to read one more chapter before you go? Should we read one more chapter? I really want to read one more chapter. You tell me. Yes? Okay, 35. We've got time. We've got till past. Round and upside down went the Peach as it plummeted towards the earth, and they were all clinging desperately to the stem to save themselves from being flung into space. Faster and faster it fell, down and down and down, racing closer and closer to the houses and streets below, where it would surely smash into a million pieces when it hit it. And all the way along Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue and along all the other streets in the city, people who had not yet reached the underground shelters looked up and saw it coming, and they stopped running and stood there staring in a sort of stupor at what they thought was the biggest bomb in all the world falling out of the sky onto their heads. A few women screamed, others knelt down on the sidewalks and began praying aloud. Strong men turned to one another and said things like, "I guess this is it, Joe," and "Goodbye, everybody, goodbye." And for the next 30 seconds, the whole city held its breath, waiting for the end to come. "Goodbye, Ladybird," gasped James, clinging to the stem of the falling Peach. "Goodbye, Centipede. Goodbye, everybody." There were only a few seconds to go now, and it looked as though they were going to fall right in among all the tallest buildings. James could see the skyscrapers rushing up to meet them at the most awful speed, and most of them had square, flat tops, but the very tallest of them all had a top that tapered off in a long, sharp point, like an enormous silver needle sticking up into the sky. And it was precisely on top of this needle that the Peach fell. There was a squelch. The needle went in deep, and suddenly there was a giant peach caught and spiked upon the very pinnacle of the Empire State Building. So that is what has happened. Charlotte, I'm loving your Spanish. Yes, Rosie, they didn't get squashed. They've landed on the Empire State Building, and we're going to stop there, and tomorrow we will finish the book, okay? So If you would like an activity to do, because I know lots of you still want activities to do, I'm not going to be teaching during the holidays, but if you'd like an activity, I'm actually going to do this. You could draw some of the skyscrapers and then you could draw the peach on top of the Empire State Building. Or if you'd rather not draw, you can write a description of New York City. Have a look for a picture of New York City, and you can write a description of New York City. Okay, think about all those words. For instead of tall, think about all those similes you might use. Okay, that was exciting. I love those chapters. And tomorrow we are finishing our book, and then I'm going to choose our next book. Bear in mind that I did want to choose a really grown-up book, but we have got 7+ watching. So I do have some year 2s, some year 3s, and year 4s, year 5s, and year 6. So I've got to choose a book that's going to be in between for all of you, okay? So I'm going to have a little think about what book I'll choose, and I'll have a look at the books that I have here at home, and then I will let you know tomorrow what our new book is, okay? Super, you are welcome. Con mucho gusto. You are welcome, you are welcome. I miss you loads too, Rosie. Hopefully when this is all over, I can come and look after you guys and see you. I was thinking to read, it's gone out of my head now, the name of the book. Gigi, what was the book that you guys read in year 5? And if you were in Miss Horn's class, you did an assembly. Oh no, it wasn't your class, maybe it was another class. Wonder is a good book. Alex Rider's a good book. I'm going to have a little think. Okay. What's that, Charlotte? I'm not sure about your question. I will miss you. I can't remember, but don't worry about it. Okay, right. Lots of love. Have a lovely rest of the day. Yes, Wonder is a great book. I'm going to have a think about the next book that we choose, okay? I've got lots of books at home. I'll have a look at the next chapter book, okay? I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. I'm going to leave you all now because I'm going to go and do Joe Wicks. I didn't do it this morning, so I'm going to do it now. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And I'm thinking of maybe finishing the week with a little, I know that you always want to do pajama day, so maybe we can have a pajama day, but I'll have a little think about it, okay? Have a lovely rest of the day, sending lots of love and positive energy to all of you. Thank you for watching my story time. I hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow, superstars. Bye.